What is up, everyone? Welcome to HiFi Turtle, the #1 reptile adjacent hi-fi page on the internet, bringing the audiophile out of their shell. Today I have the Fosi Audio MC351. This is an all-in-one integrated amplifier with streaming capabilities from Fosi Audio. Costs $180 as it was configured and sent to me. This is the 32 volt version. There is a larger power supply, a 48 volt version that can be purchased. That's a little bit more expensive at $210, but I was given the 32 volt version by Fosi, sent to me for this review. Now, before we continue, I hope you'll hit that like button. Please subscribe, it helps the channel grow, and check out the links below in the description for other ways to help support the channel so I can continue to bring you great reviews like this one. At $180, the MC351 presents itself as a very affordable and convenient solution for both listeners who want to listen to purely two-channel audio, but also those who wish to add a subwoofer and then become 2.1. Now, the configuration of the 0.1 channel in this amplifier is a little bit different than what I've experienced in other integrated amplifiers or other receivers, in that this 0.1 channel is actually powered from the amplifier. So it's meant to be used with a passive subwoofer versus a signal out to a powered or active subwoofer. That being said, Fosi says that this unit is capable of pushing 165 watts per channel into 4 ohms for the 2-channel portion of this amplifier, and then an additional 350 watts into 4 ohms is available for the active portion into your passive subwoofer. On the front, we see a variety of inputs that are available for the MC351. If you truly wish to use this as an all-in-one unit, you most likely will be selecting the Bluetooth option. That's right, this does have Bluetooth streaming, although it is only SBC. I did not see any mention of aptX or any higher quality Bluetooth format, so it is the older SBC format. But if you want to add another piece of hardware and have a digital source in the form of a separate streamer, there is the option for a USB-C, a optical, and a digital coax. As well as if you want to go more analog, there is the option for a single-ended set of analog ins where you can use an external DAC. There's the option to use the MC351 as essentially your Bluetooth streamer and DAC with the optional pre-out, which comes in a 3.5mm termination and then converts into a single-ended RCA output. On the front again is the volume knob in orange, and then the tone controls that are available on this unit to control the treble and the bass. And then we have a VU meter, which in my use of this unit, I feel like is purely entertainment purposes only. Not to say that any unit that has a VU meter in the audiophile space at least isn't that at all, but I feel like the VU meter deployed here is truly just for the looks alone. You're not really getting any information or anything meaningful out of this VU meter, where a high quality pair of like Macintosh or Audio Research VUs may give you some idea as to how many watts you're pulling or anything like that. The Fosi MC351 seems to just max out the VU no matter what you're doing. I will say that on playing rock tracks or tracks with not heavy bass lines, I didn't see a whole lot of movement when it came to the VU needle, but playing anything in the EDM or rap category, we can see the needle just absolutely losing its mind at nearly any volume. So again, entertainment purposes only for this VU meter. For comparisons to the MC351, I primarily compared it to the RSL IA255.1. It's very similar in style, very similar in features, similar in power output, maybe, and it's similar in price, at least compared to anything else that I have in my listening room. And the RSL comes in at $110 versus the $180 of the Fosi. Before we get into sound, I want to make a few critiques about the 351. I do think it's easy to use. I do think it's very convenient. It's an attractive piece of hardware. But I will say one of the most confusing portions of this component is the powered active subwoofer channel. I really struggled to think of a passive subwoofer that would make sense in this price category. Yes, there are the passive subwoofers of like Wilson and such like that, but certainly you would not pair your Wilson subwoofer with a $180 Fosi integrated amplifier, where anything in this kind of under $200, under $400 category would typically almost always be a powered option. The second thing about this unit is that with the powered subwoofer out, there is no volume adjustment or crossover adjustment for the subwoofer out. You're just gonna get what you get. There's no ability to tune it down, turn it up, adjust it as such. So I feel like that is a really strange thing to be missing on this. And I think that anyone who has a existing 2.1 channel system or wants to get a 2.1 channel system would find themselves in quite a hard place to adjust this and make this work properly in their room without that level adjustment at a minimum. Another thing that I couldn't figure out with the MC351 is, for whatever reason, with the RSL, I was very easily able to connect a USB-C from my iPad into the RSL. And that was awesome because it essentially turns my iPad into a music streamer. And, you know, I've got the big screen and everything. I can control the iPad from my phone and get high quality audio. However, with the MC351, I was unable to do so with my iPad. Now, a Windows computer was no problem, but I feel like the ability to connect your iPad, I don't know why that is. I don't know what the drivers are. I don't know what the software is on this thing. But the ability to connect my iPad on the RSL is one of the most attractive things about that unit. And to not be able to do it on the more expensive Fosi is just unfortunate. And last but not least, to my kind of criticism to this device is I really struggle with believing the Fosi spec'd power for this unit. Again, this is supposed to be 165 watts into 4 ohms for the 2-channel portion. Now, I don't have a passive subwoofer, so I didn't check anything on the subwoofer portion of this, but it doesn't really sound like 165 watts to me, and I'm wondering what that measurement looks like and where it is, because turning the MC351 up to probably about 80% volume is about where the RSL IA255 is at 30%. And the RSL is only 55 watts. So someone's wrong here. Something's wrong. Either the RSL is not 55 watts or the Fosi is not 165 watts. And the RSL is way louder than the Fosi. So I'm more inclined to believe that there's something wrong with the measurements on the Fosi side as far as how they spec this power rating. All right, so let's get into the sound of this unit. Now, I've heard a lot of great things about Fosi, and it's one of the things why I wanted to do this review, is because I've just heard so many great things about Fosi. They're like the champion, or one of the champions of budget-minded audiophiles. So a chance to review their MC351 just seemed like, yeah, of course I'll do it. And as impressed that I was with the RSL IA255.1, I thought, yeah, if RSL's doing that at $110, I can only imagine what Fosi's doing at $180. And unfortunately, I'm coming away very disappointed, honestly. I feel like this unit is inferior to the RSL IA255.1 in every sense. And again, that is a $110 unit where the Fosi is $180. I find it very hard to recommend this unit unless you have a very specific reason to do so. Those being that you really need those extra digital inputs, or you just love the idea of the VU meter and it's more of an aesthetic thing, or that you really actually do have a passive subwoofer and you're not willing to go buy an active one and really need that active subwoofer channel. Besides that, at $180, this unit really does perform, I guess, like you would expect a $180 all-in-one unit to perform. I can't say that I'm disappointed in the sense that I feel like $180 is a ripoff for this unit, but more so that I've just experienced better quality from devices that cost, well, significantly less when you think about it. I will say the RSL and the Fosi do differ slightly in their sound signatures, where the Fosi is a V-curve presence where the RSL is a little bit more neutral, maybe slightly warm in the mid-bass presence, but the Fosi has a very sharp V-curve to it, which makes it kind of fun in the bass, but also makes it harsh in the treble. And I don't think that's helped by the sense that this unit is not very highly resolving. So at times those more shrill treble displays are just that, just shrill and harsh and not detailed or somewhat satisfying or have kind of any really redeeming quality to them. They just feel way too hot and just not satisfying or nice to listen to at all. Of course, there are the EQ knobs in the front, so you can tune down that treble, but you can do the same on the RSL. So I feel like I don't want to play too much with the EQ and be like, oh, it can compensate for it. Yes, you can, of course you can, but you can do the same thing on the RSL. So it's not like it's doing anything out of the ordinary with these tone controls. Going beyond what's adjustable with EQ, the mid-range is definitely just there. You know, it's not an amazing quality. It's not something I would even label as audiophile. I feel like that this is kind of just like Garage System or something like that, which again, at $180, it feels like you should be getting more. You get a decent, convenient amplifier, but it's just not enough to convince me to actually purchase this thing at $180, especially considering that the RSL is $110. I think we just cut it there. I really appreciate Fosi Audio for sending me this for the review, but I'm hoping that I get to try something else from them and be impressed like other YouTubers and other reviewers have been. This thing's actually got really great reviews on both their website and Amazon, so obviously there's a lot of people who really like this thing. And I think if you take this and throw it in a garage system or just, you know, aren't super critically listening to this, it's more about the convenience. Yeah, it's a decent device, but again, there are better alternatives out there for less money. So I find myself not willing to be able to recommend the MC351 unless you absolutely need those additional digital inputs or the 0.1 subwoofer that is powered coming out of this unit is absolutely critical to you and you're not willing to get an active subwoofer. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. It really helps the channel. Check the links below in the description and I'll see you in the next one.